This is your season of letting go, and today we will be talking about my new release, The Freedom of Forward. So, number one, thank you guys for joining me this morning. I'm a little later than I anticipated, but this is an opportunity for us to have a conversation about letting go and walking into that season of joy and abundance and inner peace. And I think for a lot of us on our journey of healing, growth, and emotional maturity, we're going to go through many seasons of life where we feel misunderstood, mistreated, unheard, unseen, really confused by our own actions, thoughts, and different trials and tests and tribulations that we go through. But I think what's most important is that when you get through these seasons, when you go through the peaks and the valleys in life, that you walk away from them with wisdom, maturity, peace, and a greater understanding of what your purpose is. So what we're going to do is, like I do with every one of my books, I'm going to have a Q&A, and I'll also give you guys an opportunity to, give me page numbers that you want to read. And I'll also give you a little background information of where I got inspiration from the different pages and the different perspectives that I have. So mind you, I just moved, so we're probably going to have some echoes. You're going to see my dogs coming. But I wanted to do this like I've done with every other book that I have. So thank you guys for being here. And while I wait for you to get on, I'm just going to read some different pages to you. And I think I'll start with the introduction. And the introduction reads, even if your tears teach you and the strengths revealed work together and stay, if you don't release the burdens and bruising that your mind, body, and spirit encountered on your journey, you will not feel free. Life is filled with profound lessons if we make the choice to humble ourselves and learn from every path we've taken, pressure that propelled us, and darkness that shined on our true essence. Through reflection and reframing, we are able to identify not only what truly matters, but also what stands in the way of us being our most authentic, healed, and whole self. There's a heaviness that persists when we can't release people-pleasing, offense, unforgiveness, condemnation, and resentment. Silent roots that only cultivate suffocating fruits of fear, anxiety, regret, and anger. Before we can joyfully, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally move forward with confidence, inner peace, and a greater appreciation for who we are and the testimony we've earned, we must genuinely acknowledge the feelings and footholds that impact our mindset, heart, faith, and perspective. By addressing the internal obstacles that make forgiving ourselves, others, and the past seem unattainable, we can reframe and progress in our purpose and indulge in the freedom of letting go of what's behind and embracing what is and what is to come. Healing requires you to show the lowest version of yourself, the highest amount of accountability, understanding, compassion, and love. Suppressed emotions, unexpressed offenses, and unmet expectations led to some of the heaviest and most needless weights I've ever carried in life. Frozen yet enlightened through emotions, exposure, and lessons I once experienced concurrently, I acquired beautiful insights, all while blindly accumulating issues with them. Issues that didn't internally present themselves until the struggles passed, but the suffering didn't. Though still in obedience, in my silence I gained priceless revelation and wisdom, but it also cost me the comfort and confidence in using my own voice. I allowed the opinions and optics of others to overshadow the truth of my reality, as my desire to just let the storms pass led me to drowning in the depression of each raindrop and teardrop I felt. I allowed my own insecurities and internal conflicts to shift my view of life and myself, which led me to see me through the lens of only seeking protection and peace, overanalyzing everything and everyone along the way. By knowingly and unknowingly putting my pain, pressures, and problems on a pedestal, I consequently dragged my heart, hope, and happiness on the floor. Although I know I am free, it is time to fully embody freedom. Moving every mountain that has long resided in my mind, I'm consciously and graciously making room for every blessing, aspect of growth, and inner healing that I was born to receive. I'm embracing the freedom of moving forward. So that was the introduction to the book. And I think it's important that I acknowledge some of these emotions because when you are in seasons of being still, when you are in seasons that God has you to look at yourself, look at your own toxic traits, your own immaturity, look at your people, the people around you, your thought process, there is not a lot of reacting. There is not a lot of explaining, but there is a lot of feeling. There is so much happening at one time. It feels like even though you're growing, even though you're healing, even though you're maturing, it's heavy, it's painful, and it's full, and I mean full of unexpressed offense. And that's something that I address very much in the book, of my internal thoughts and that internal conflict of knowing why you're doing this spiritual, mental, and emotional work, knowing that, okay, spiritually, I'm surrendering everything to God. Spiritually, I'm walking in ordered steps. I'm walking in ordered stops, but my flesh is on fire. I'm angry. I'm confused. People and myself not measuring up to expectations is a lot. So when you get out of that, when you endure that and overcome that, it's releasing those offenses. It's making peace with everything that's been revealed. And it's moving forward with the lessons and wisdom and insight that you've acquired along the way. So I'm looking, yes, the book name is The Freedom of Forward. And I'm going to start reading some of your questions because I see that we're getting here. Let's see. Evelina, you've helped me heal, and now I want to do is try to help others heal along people's mental health. I'm so proud of you. Thank you, Elena. And thank you for always being so supportive and really understanding, because that's the thing. A lot of people, we want mental wellness, but we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to say how uncomfortable it is. We don't want to say how much it's impacting our mind and our lives and our family and our friendships. And that's not what healing is. Healing is uncomfortable. Healing is ugly. Healing is confusing. Healing is knowing that you have so much to say, and you rightfully should and could say it. But wisdom tells you to be still and listen. Wisdom tells you that God is revealing something to you, through you, and for you. So that beautiful gift of discernment, those beautiful nuggets of wisdom, they come with a lot of pain. They come with a lot of frustration. But when you get to the other side of it and you see yourself and you see your purpose and you see the potential of impact you have for other people that are going through that same thing or something similar, you realize it's not just about you. And that's where an impact is made. So Elena, I hope that, you, and I know you will, you can and will help so many people just by being yourself and sharing your testimonies and sharing, just how much God has helped you. So I think that's the beautiful part about purpose work. It's that, people around the world know you by your works, but truly it's not about you. And if you go into it about yourself, your impact is not going to be the same. Because for me, and I was telling that's one of my mentors, I think one of the greatest things, and I'm a very introverted person. I do not like being on these videos. I am not, like I said, I'm not fully moved in. I'm sitting on a table at a table. I don't even have my table set up. But I realized years ago that this is not about Morgan. This is not about what you think of me and what you see in me. It is connecting with you through emotions and experiences and empathy. And my form of therapy is helping people get to therapy. My form of therapy is helping people understand that you have to go back to the Creator when you feel like there's a malfunction in your life or in your mind or just period. So if you have God and you have that obedience and you have that want to do better, want to be better, want to feel better, you would be surprised just how much your life would change for the better if you do that. So again, I'm just talking away. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Kristen. I'm seeing all these names and I need to read your stuff. I love helping people become unstuck in life. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's amazing because you realize how impactful it is to be the person that you needed. There are so many of us that have gone through different seasons of life where it was just the best action to just detach, remove, be quiet. But you had so much you had to say. There was so much that you needed to hear. So when God gives you that opportunity to come full circle and be that person for someone else and give them the love that you wish someone gave to you, give them the advice and the wisdom that you wish someone would have given to you, it is healing. It's healing for everyone involved. And excuse Remy, because God knows what she's barking at. And I'm getting a lot of sweet comments. Thank you, guys. But since I have you, give me a page number. This book is 245 pages. Typically, my poetry and prose collections are around 160 pages. But when I tell you, this was like that last therapy session for me. I really just let it out, and I knew that there were things in this book that needed to be said, needed to be shared. So if we can start reading that. Okay, let's see. All right, hold on. Oh my goodness. They're gonna all start. Hold on. Remy, come on. Shh. I have 3 dogs, so when one begins, they all sing the song of their people. Hold on one second. Okay, so I saw page 20, and that page reads, hold on. Remy, come see. I'm sorry, guys. Come see. Don't bump the table because we have a ratchet setup over here. Okay. A broken record, skipping and scoring with every trigger that presented itself. Frozen, flustered, and frustrated, silent in my suffering and strife. Meditating on and being tormented by all that brought me pain, yet too accustomed to its impact to remember that I have and could live without it. And in that page, I'm really talking about, there were seasons and honestly years of my life, Ted, please. Okay. But on this page, I'm talking about those seasons where I just felt frozen. And everyone deals with trauma and stress differently. Everyone talks about fight or flight. But I think what a lot of people forget is freeze. And that's my way of dealing, And for me, I just got into this cycle of constantly mentally tormenting myself, constantly being fearful to reach out to people, not feeling safe, not feeling seen, not feeling heard, not feeling understood, learning so much, but with this information that I'm learning, feeling overwhelmed by it. And it's a very difficult place to be, because if you feel that long enough, it's almost addictive. You almost forget that you lived without being that way. You forget that there was a time before these seasons that you felt comfortable. You felt positive. You felt at peace. You could just exist and you're okay. And that is the part that I think that when we struggle, especially mentally and emotionally and spiritually, you feel stuck. Because yes, this is uncomfortable. Yes, this is painful. But if I take a step out, if I say something, will I make it worse? So that page is really, and let me scroll because I'm on Instagram and Facebook, so y'all bear with me. But that is something that I struggled with a lot. Say, I love the color of your dress and the color of your lipstick. Thank you. And I'm very much behind y'all. As we know, I can get a little stuck here. And I'll just read different pages. Again, give me your page numbers. I see your books have always helped me through a lot of things and lead me nearer to God. Thank you. And my teens appreciate it too. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just getting caught up reading these things. And I'm not going to keep you because, of course, that looks awkward of me just staring at this phone. But let's see. Let me just turn to a random page. Okay. Remy. And again, I apologize. There's a lot going on for you guys. Let's see. I see 3327. And of course, I'll be back on this evening. Let's see. 27 is short and sweet, but it says, there is wisdom in those wounds and a story behind your silence. I'm about to put them in their room. Would that be weird if I just left and came back? Someone let me know if that's okay, because y'all are not going to be able to hear me at all, and it's extremely distracting. But yes, so I say there's a wisdom in those wounds and a story behind your silence. And it's true. I think it's not that you put pain or issues on a pedestal, but when you're done experiencing, when you're done being wrapped into that storm and feeling everything so immensely, so intensely, you look back and you realize it is those very seasons that really help shape you, because it is those seasons that you worked on yourself the most. Those seasons where you saw who you were and who you weren't. Those seasons where you saw who your people were and who your people were not. And yes, it's difficult. Yes, it takes a lot out of you. But at the same time, if you would go back in time and erase all your mistakes, erase all your struggles, erase all of your offenses, erase all of your immaturity, you would not be the person that you are. So it's making peace with that and knowing that there is a story behind it all. No matter how long you were silent about it, there is wisdom in those wounds, no matter how long or how deeply they hurt. So, yes. And I want to give insights too of different things. So, let's see. I have page 77, and that reads, "You are crazy, guilty, not worthy of being considered, or completely out of line until they get a taste of what they've been serving you. Until it is their turn to feel alone or overwhelmed. Until it is their turn to be lied to or lied about. Until it is their turn to be mistreated or manipulated. Until it is their turn to be some variation of you in the equation. It isn't until then they even consider that perhaps you weren't the sole source of the problem after all. Perhaps what they said was not what you lived or spoke. Perhaps it all should have been handled differently. Maybe your perspective was worth seeking. Maybe you did have something to say. Maybe the way you were treated wasn't necessary. Maybe the disregard they had for you was not deserved. The sad part is, by the time that point comes, you likely won't want to repair or regain anything that was lost. Not because you don't want reconnection, vindication, unity, harmony, or any other construct that you once desired, prayed for, or waited on, but because you've seen and experienced too much to come close to ever experiencing it again. You've since put the pieces of your life back together, and because you know just how much it took to learn, heal, and move forward, you accept that you've come too far to return to anyone or anything that broke you." There is something about time and healing that changes the way that you see yourself, the way that you see redemption, the way that you see reconnecting and reconciliation. And for people that have gone through seasons where they felt, or they were, I'm not even going to say felt, the truth is they were mishandled. The truth is they were lied to or lied about. The truth is things could have been handled completely differently. Or they lost trust in people, or they lost trust in family, friends, co-workers, whoever it may be. When you fight your battles spiritually, opposed to when you fight your battles in the flesh, what you take away from it and what you want from it will be completely different. And let me help you understand why. When you are a person, and I've seen from certain reactions, when you are a person that seeks spiritual wisdom, that prays to God, how do I handle this? Do I handle this? Is this my battle to fight, or is this yours to fight? I can assure you, the person that takes the spiritual route, the person that leaves room for wrath, the person that leaves room for revelation, the person that says, I'm not even going to go to that level. The person that says, I'm not going to fall into that trap because I know weapons form, but they don't prosper. The way they walk out of that season is vastly different, because they realize that everything that they lose is not a loss. They realize that that season is not only going to reveal their own toxicity and immaturity, but it's also going to reveal the toxicity and immaturity of everyone in that equation. So when I said at the end of it that the sad part is by the time that point comes, you likely won't want to repair or regain anything that was lost. It's not because you don't love those people. It's not because you don't love your friends or people that were your friends. It's not because you don't love your family or people that you looked at as family, but because you've seen enough and you've learned enough that you're not going to fight to have mess or stress in your life. You are not going to fight to hold on to someone or anything that is not assigned to or aligned with your life. You're going to take those offenses, which I'm sure are unexpressed, and you're going to heal from them. Because everyone likes to do this thing of, oh, well, I got to say what I got to say. I got to speak my piece. I have to prove my point. But if God is trying to prove a point to you, you will be out of order. And you will be needlessly distracting yourself by trying to get a lick back to anybody that was just teaching you a lesson after all. Not everything and not everyone is meant to be in your life. Not every battle is meant for you to fight. Not every friendship, not every family bond, no matter how long it was in your life, is meant to go to this season or the next season. And that is something that we don't want to accept. That is something that we hear and that's something that we say, but it is something that is so difficult for us to live and apply because it's painful. So, as a person, and I feel like these are different conversations that I'm going to go into more as we have these lives and as we have, different speaking opportunities, understanding that your season of being still is probably the most frustrating and painful and eye-opening season that you will ever experience, because it's a mirror for yourself. But I'm gonna just give this analogy. I'm from the country. It is literally like going cut grass in the field. Everyone says keep the grass low. Once you start cutting that grass, once you start doing that inner work, once you start doing that healing, once you start seeking God for what you should or shouldn't do, once you start seeking God for how you should handle yourself, handle your pain, handle your mistakes, handle your flaws, it's going to be like cutting that grass, and nothing but snakes and rats are going to run out of it. And those snakes and rats could be fake friends and fake family. Those snakes and rats can be your own immaturity and your strongholds and your issues, but it's going to come out. And it's not for you to try to mend. It's not for you to try to make sense to people. It's not for you to go off on people. It's not for you to correct every falsehood or every deceiving thing that's said. It is for you to seek God and ask him what you're supposed to do. Because it's ultimately for you to learn, grow, and prune from it all. So I think that was a good page to pick, but you have to be okay with that. I'm a person, and if you've read my books, in which I see a lot of you have all of them, I always struggled with people pleasing. I always struggled with what people think. I was a proving point person. And then when I got, into my church and into my faith, I really prided myself on, okay, I'm no longer a people pleaser. I don't care. I'm not going to correct people. I'm not going to go and try to be everyone's friend. But then I became a people prover and told myself things like, oh, in time, they're going to regret what they did. They're going to regret what they said. They're going to see this. The things that we tell ourselves when we're hurt is like planting a seed that's only going to grow into a weight over time. Because whether you were people pleasing or you were people proving, your idol is still people. And that's where a lot of us suffer. We're called to love people. We're called to serve people. But I was not put on this earth to make everyone happy. I was not put on this earth to explain myself to everyone. I was not put on this earth to be everyone's best friend. And when I realized that I couldn't be a people pleaser and a purpose worker, a lot changed. And the way that I look at myself and life changed. The advice that I give changed. The sources that I will actually take advice from changed. Because I realized that was one of my biggest issues. I see people in the comments and saying that's where they struggle. And a lot of people might not admit that, but I lost so much sleep in my life over words, over optics, over opinions. And although I prided myself in those seasons of not reacting, not saying, it hurt me because I couldn't escape this. You see, some people don't care, right? There are some people, and I love that. My husband is one of those people. He truly does not care. Some people act unbothered. No, he is unbothered. Like, I don't know how he does it, but it's a great balance. But he says that all the time. It's hard to hold on to offense when you don't care about someone's opinion. It's hard to hold on to offense when you know who you are, what you have, what you're working with, and what you're working towards. It's when you are learning that you hold on to offense. It is when you're in seasons of feeling so fragile and vulnerable and lost. That's when you hold on to offense. And I did that. Oh my gosh. And I think one of the reasons why I held on to offense so much is because I was not confident in myself. So if you struggle with anxiety or depression, that internal conversation is it's rough. And I struggled with that. And I don't know why I came around this, but I think I need to share. The things I would tell myself, I would not even repeat to you guys. And I remember I did a fast one time, and I told Rusty, I said, I have to tell you this because I'm fasting. And literally when I went through that fasting year, one of my friends, she's like, do you even eat anymore? But I realized I had to share what I was saying to get it out. And I was telling my husband, these are things that I tell myself. This is what I struggle with when I find myself in these situations, or, in this environment, or I'm triggered by this. This is what I say. And it's like he was grateful that I told him, but it was like he was mortified because he couldn't understand how or why I would speak to myself like that, how or why I would say things to myself. But I bring it back to you because when you are in that state, when you are in that season, even when people disrespect you, even when people offend you knowingly or unknowingly, even when people deceive you or deceive other people relating to you, it's still not as bad as what you tell yourself. And if you're a person that blames yourself for everything, that is so hard on yourself, before you can even think about putting someone else in order, or putting someone else in their lane, you have to get yourself in order and get yourself in your own lane. So that is why the freedom of Ford was so important for me to write, because I wrote a lot of internal thoughts. I wrote about condemnation. I wrote about resentment, anger, unforgiveness, but I also wrote about awareness and insight and wisdom and forgiveness and inner peace and understanding that all things work together. And I think that when you give yourself permission to acknowledge both, that's when you can really heal from them. Because you have to tell yourself at some point, I can't carry this weight. You have to tell yourself at some point, this is not what I'm purposed to do. So for people that are on their healing journey, for people that have so many battles that they fought in silence, that have so many unexpressed offenses, that have felt let down because they didn't live up to their expectations, or people that they loved and trusted didn't live up to their expectations, this book is for you. Because this is the point where you realize, yep, everything happens. Every word was spoken, whether I spoke it or someone said it to me. The experiences I lived, making peace with the experiences that I didn't live, the truths of my life, the lies I endured, everything. I have to let it go. And I have to let it go, knowing that I have to make room for the things that I prayed for. I have to make room for the things that I prepared for. You know, you can't just pray with expectation, but leave no room for it to grow, no place for it to land. You can't pray for God to align you with equally yoked friends, healthy bonds with family, but you leave such a hole. This take up so much of your mind and your heart space of what you don't want or what you don't like. To get more, you have to make space for more. And that is what this book did to me. And as I was reading it, and my friends and family will tell you, it was a thing of like, oh, I feel so much better. It was just, like I said, when you're going to read it, you're going to realize it really was that therapy for me. I think everyone loves the tears that taught me, but I feel that the freedom of forward really presses upon those points, but dives deeper into them, because it's almost like whatever I put out, it's no longer on me. And I'm not carrying that weight anymore. And I don't want you to carry that weight anymore. So if there's anything that you guys can get from this book, I really hope it is that we all struggle. We all have internal and external battles. We have all had times that we've looked in the mirror and we did not even recognize that person. We've all had times where we looked and we thanked God for what's in our lives and what we've become and the prayers that we're walking in, and then we still get triggered by things that bring us to panic, that bring us to insecurity. We still find ourselves trying to move forward through our healing journey, reaching for trust, reaching for positivity, reaching for something, of joy, and we realize the enemy stole it. And we have to work on gaining it back. So if you're a person that is very honest on your healing journey, if you're a person that has felt and experienced more than people would even imagine just looking at you, this is definitely your book. So again, I'm just going on and on. But are there any questions that you guys have or any page numbers that you want me to read? Again, I'll be on here for a little while. I'm also getting back on tonight. But I really just, want to use this time to connect with you and answer any of those questions that you have. In the meantime, I'll look for another page. So this is, okay, and I see page 45. I'm going to read this one. This is page 166, and it's about condemnation. And I said, you've been chastised and changed. Condemnation is not your portion. I know you wish you knew then what you know now. I know if you could go back in time, you'd handle it all differently. I know the page they refer to is not nearly a representation of the book of your life that you lived, but it's over. There are no redos or revisions. There are only revelations gained from your experiences and the need for you to redirect and apply the lessons you've learned. Forgive your former self. That version of you handled it the best way you thought you could at the time. Since then, you've worked tirelessly to do and be better. Extend to yourself the love, grace, forgiveness, and mercy you extend to everyone else. The past version of yourself deserves forgiveness, and the present version of yourself deserves peace. Maybe I'm just speaking to myself, but there is no person that I struggled to forgive quite like myself. And the crazy part about it is the more I connected with God, the more therapy I got, the more I learned, the more I found myself struggling to forgive myself because I didn't know then what I know now. The more I condemned myself. And don't get me wrong, I've always struggled with condemnation. I've always struggled with anxiety. I always struggled with, if I've had any shortcomings, I was so hard on myself. But I had to reach a point, Remy. I'm sorry guys, I'm giving you this testimony and Remy's getting ready to tear something up that I don't even see. Come on, it's okay, come say hi. But I struggled with that to the point that I couldn't see the forest from the trees. And I had to accept that 32-year-old Morgan, 30-year-old Morgan, 25-year-old Morgan, 20-year-old Morgan, 15-year-old Morgan, 10-year-old Morgan, they weren't all different versions of me. They were all doing the best that they knew how to do at the time. They were all coping in the best way that they could at the time. Even the wrong decisions, even the tests they failed, they still deserve mercy. They still deserve forgiveness. They still deserve understanding. And why can I give that to everybody but me? Why can I love and see past the issues of everyone but me? No one is perfect. Everyone has different trials. And in a world where everyone loves to point out everyone else's flaws, when you're a person that is so hyper fixated on your own, of course it's easy to give people words of love and empowerment and inspiration, because you are dying to hear that and receive that in yourself. So no matter what you've done, I don't care what you've done. I don't care how long you did it. I don't care how long you struggled. I don't care what people said, whether they got it right or wrong. I don't care how those people treated you. I don't care if they made you think, listen, or led you to believe the lies that they said about you. You're worthy. You're powerful. You're blessed. You're healing. No one can take that from you. Hey, Remy. No one can take that from you. No one can say that because you're not perfect, that you're not worthy of respect and love, that you're not capable of healing and growing and thriving. You have to forgive yourself. You have to look at yourself and tell yourself, I did the best I could. I'm sorry I didn't do more. You have to apologize to yourself for those nights and those years that you wasted worrying or crying over things or people or struggles. You have to work towards healing you. And you know what? There's a page I want to read to you. And again, I'm all over the place. I'm one of these people, if you haven't noticed, that I will go into deep conversation, but I don't like distractions at all. Like I cannot, and I love my babies, but there is something outside that is driving them nuts, which is in turn driving me nuts. But I wanted to, I wrote something, and it says on page 175 is an exercise from your healed self to your hurt self. But before I do that, please let me let them out because I'm losing it. Hold on. Come on. All right. Okay, back to where we were. So on page 175 is an exercise from your healed self to your whole self. And it says, take a deep breath and close your eyes. I want you to think back to the weakest, lowest, and most vulnerable version of yourself. I want you to envision your exact location, make note of your physical features, and even remember the smells around you. I want you to tap into the emotions that laid in your heart, the thoughts that ran through your mind, and recall the waves of obstacles you once endured. Then I want you to look that former version of yourself softly in the eyes and tell them, I see you. Hug your past self and tell yourself, I feel you. Hold the hands of the person you once were and say, I forgive you. Speak life to a version of yourself that felt it was drifting away, and stand as proof that there is healing, hope, and wholeness on the other side of this season if they keep holding on. And I wrote that because last year, you ever have dreams or visions that are so real that it takes you, like it just knocks something out of you. You feel like you're there. And I had that, but what I saw was that most broken, vulnerable, depressed, lost version of myself. And like even telling you, I could see it. I could tell you what my room looked like. It was at my old house. I can tell you what my room looked like. I could still see my beautiful bed, and I had this like purple throw at the edge of it. And I could still see I had my master bathroom and all my gold towels on the floor. And it was like mountains of clothes. And it was because I was extremely depressed. Like I couldn't wash anything. I literally was like rotting away in that season. I was extremely skinny. I wasn't eating. I wasn't healthy. And in that dream vision, healed me went speak to hurt me. And it was very healing for me, because I feel like God was trying to show me too that you're not there. I think a lot of us struggle with our healing journey, with our journeys of forgiveness of others and self, because we don't separate present day self with former self. So we still feel the pains of yesterday just like they happen today. And having that time and really praying and releasing those former seasons, praying and releasing those past pains and struggles and offenses and issues. It was kind of giving myself, as morbid as it sounds, giving that former version of myself the funeral that she needed. Because I'm not her anymore. I don't look like her. I don't think like her. I am much older than her now. I see, live, think, love, know on a different level. And as long as I was connected to that former version of myself, I was going to continue to suffer silently. I was going to continue to struggle at just an insane level of social anxiety. I was going to continue to be fearful, to be paranoid. And that's not where I was anymore. And I was so far removed from it, but so spiritually and emotionally connected to it that I had, there was not peace. So yeah, I just took y'all on a whole journey of an experience. But yeah, I just had to share that. I'm reading back and forth to you guys, so I'm like going. But yeah, and I saw someone else, they wanted me to read page what? I'm like, oh, where's Remy? I let Remy outside because Remy does not know how to act this morning. Since we've moved and there are other animals, she's just, I don't know what she's going through. She's going through something, and they like trigger every other dog in the neighborhood. So once they start, it's like a whole ensemble of barking. So, okay. I think that was page. Okay, so page 75. And I'm in the Freedom of Forward. And the page 75 reads, "If you mean me no good, please leave me alone. I won't return or match your energy. I won't talk about you, especially if I'm not talking to you. I say this not to reject you, but to protect myself. If you can't contribute to the peace I have in my life, by all means, do not disturb it." Let me tell you, if there is one thing, if there is one motivation I have in life, it is peace. I really don't care what it takes to have that peace. I just need my peace. If you want to be, again, disrespectful, rude, messy, please do that. Do that elsewhere. Do not bring that to me. Do not invite me to be a part of that, because I'm not going to attend that. Do not be a person that lacks discretion and discernment and only aligns with drama and expect me to be a part of that. I will not. And I say that with love. And I say that even jokingly because I'm very serious. Peace is such a motivator in my life. Peace is something that once you lose it, if you ever go through a season where you lose your peace and you work to regain that peace, come hell or high water, you're going to keep it. And that is something that I don't think a lot of people respect. A lot of people want unlimited access, unlimited expectations, unlimited explanations. You're not going to get all that with me or people like me. People that seek peace and pursue it and protect it by all costs. Do not think that you're going to come disrupt my peace and you're going to be invited back in that realm again. That's not happening. And I think when it comes to distance and detachment, so many of us, especially like when healing, we have to learn the difference, right? You can't just cut everyone out because maybe you find them annoying or you don't necessarily like what. Not everyone is toxic. If you think that everyone in the world is toxic but you're probably the toxic one. But I say that to where after a while, after you've had enough revealed to you, after people or situations revealed themselves beyond the benefit of the doubt, if you just keep leaving yourself open to that, you cannot complain when you cannot rest. You cannot complain when it feels like your nervous system cannot regulate. You cannot complain or blame them because the person that you should be holding accountable is you. So protect your peace. Create more peace in your life. Change your mindset. Change your life. But you don't have to have anyone in your space, in your environment, in your circle that means you no good or brings negativity to it. And I'm going to read one last page because, again, like I told you guys, I'll be on tonight. But I'm going to read page 236. And it reads, "You are the only person who knows every version of you. You are the only person who has lived your life, has seen everything through your eyes, has felt your emotions, and has had all your experiences from beginning to now. If you know every piece of the puzzle, every action, reaction, and emotion behind it, do not concern yourself about the opinions or optics of those who have not. There is nothing people can tell you about yourself that you don't know. No one's opinions of you or feelings towards you can change the facts of who you are." I don't know who needed to hear that, but let me leave you with this. You are the only person that has lived every single day of your life. You are the only person that can hear your innermost thoughts. You are the only person, and even you have to work to understand the reasoning of your motives and your movements. Do not base your sanity, your identity, your love of self on the opinions and words of others. Because when they change their minds, when they speak things to you or about you that do not align with the truth of who you are, it is extremely difficult to find your peace and keep your balance when all of your worth and all of that weight is on someone else. When all of your identity, all of your inner strength is based upon the opinions and feelings of others. Feelings are fickle. People can love you today. They can call you their brother, their sister today. They can tell you you're like a daughter or a son to them. They can say that you are their mentor, you are their role model, you are the best thing since chocolate milk. today. They could say, and again, I used to be in political marketing. They can look at you like you are the best leader, the best advocate today. And tomorrow, those same supporters, family members, friends, co-workers, circle, peers can drag you to filth. They can call you every name in the book. They can leave you out. They can count you out. They can go off of optics and opinions and paint a picture of you that you've never even lived or experienced. You cannot let lies about you create lies within you, and you cannot let feelings of others stand higher or more valuable than the facts of who you are. And like this girl just said, you brought me back to Jesus. That's exactly. You know who you are. God knows who you are. You've lived every experience. You've heard every one of your thoughts. God knows your heart. He has seen everything. No one gets away with anything, okay? I don't care what people said to you or about you. God saw all of it. He saw the truth of your experiences and conversations, and he saw the lies that came from them. He saw the truth of your intentions. He saw how you carried them out, why you carried them out. Do not search the world and ask for spiritual, mental, and emotional guidance from people who are lost, when you can seek the one that created you. You can seek the one that knows everything about you, that could see far beyond what you're living. You get your identity from God, and you keep your identity by protecting and knowing who you are, whether people agree with it, see it, believe it, respect it, or not. So I'll leave that message with you, and again, I'm coming back later on. But you have to know who you are. And those hurts that you're hiding, those hurts that you don't talk about, this is a season that you heal them. And you walk in abundance and joy. And you unapologetically claim and walk in everything that God has for you. So, I'll leave you with this. And I'll be on later on this evening at 7 o'clock. But I just wanted to give you guys, and I didn't realize, oh my goodness. So sorry, Facebook. I hadn't scrolled this entire time. But I leave you with that, because hold on to you. You know the truths of your life. You know the truths of what you struggle with. You know those thoughts that keep coming back. You know those insecurities that pop up when God wants to take you into a new season. This season, this book, this time of your life is for you. So, I love you guys. I thank you for joining this conversation. We will continue our conversation later on this evening, and love always.